From WFRV Local 5, your local election headquarters. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning. Welcome to Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. With the resignation of Congressman Mike Gallagher, Wisconsin's 8th congressional district seat is now open. There are 4 announced candidates for the job. On the Republican side, State Senator Andre Jacques, former state senator and former candidate for Lieutenant Governor Roger Roth, and Green Bay businessman Tony Weed. On the Democratic side, the sole candidate is Dr. Kristen Lyerly. Now, Newsmaker Sunday has extended an invitation to all 4 candidates to appear on this program. And the first to take us up on the invitation, our guest this morning, former state senator Roger Roth. Roger, good to have you back again.
Tom, it is a pleasure to be here.
Thanks so much for coming on. Before we get into the politics and nuts and bolts and your platform, let me just get a little elevator speech of Roger Roth for our viewers who may not know everything about you and your extensive political career. Tell us about you.
Yeah, well, more than anything, I'm born and raised here in Northeast Wisconsin, spent my entire life here. I'm a 25-year home builder in the area, carrying on the tradition of my father and my grandfather, building houses all over Northeast Wisconsin. Spent the last 20 years in the Wisconsin Air National Guard, still serving, had 4 deployments over to the Middle East over that time frame. And my wife and I, we raise our 5 little boys in Appleton. Keeps us on our toes, keeps us busy. In that time, too, I was in the state legislature, served 2 terms in the state assembly, also 2 terms in the state senate with Governor Scott Walker, and looking to take all that experience, the extensive small business experience, military experience, legislative experience, go out to Washington. They need some real leadership out there, and I'm looking forward to going out there and getting things done. That
8th congressional seat has a family history, does it not?
It does, yeah. My uncle was Toby Roth, who was elected the year I was born to this seat, and he held it, I think, for like 18 years. I definitely won't be out there that long, but looking forward to getting out there and bringing the same kind of leadership that he was able to bring. You know, he knew this district well. He taught me what I know about campaigning, and that's why we are going everywhere across the 8th district, everywhere 2 or more people are gathered together. I want to be there shaking hands, meeting people, understanding their concerns, so that when I get out to Washington, I can lead on day one.
Yeah, Uncle Toby must know about politics and campaigning because he was in there from, what, 79 to 97, 9 consecutive terms.
That's correct.
Before he called it a day. Let me get your perspective on how we got here into this primary election. You are looking to take the seat of Congressman Mike Gallagher, who announced he would not seek a 5th term. When asked why, he said electoral politics was never supposed to be a career, but he also said, I'm leaving with a heavy heart. Why do you think that he resigned, did not seek that 5th term?
Yeah, I don't know the direct answer to your question, but I will tell you, I mean, I agree with him. I don't think serving in Washington is something that shouldn't be a career. It should be something that you go out there as long as you've got passion and energy and you feel like you can contribute positively to affect change. And maybe he had just come in his 4 terms out there, his 8 years out there, to the conclusion that, you know, I've given it my all, now it's time to move on and let someone else step up.
Were you surprised when there was not just the announcement that he's not running for re-election, but then the sudden resignation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, and I tell people, because it comes up in all the conversations that I have, that I'm running for this office and I'm giving them my commitment. I'm going to serve each and every day of my term here. I think the people here in Northeast Wisconsin deserve that, and I'm going to give it my all.
So what is it about your political past, your past accomplishments, that will serve you well as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives?
Well, if you look at all the problems right now that we're facing in Washington, we need someone out there with a broad range of experiences. And for me, 25 years in the home building business, I understand small business. I understand what it's like to sweat, to have to put food on the table. We need that in Washington with the inflation that we have going on right now. I understand it. My wife and I, we feel the harmful effects of Biden's disastrous inflationary policy. I like to tell people, I know, we literally go through 5 gallons of milk, 4 loaves of bread, 3 boxes of cereal each and every week to feed those 5 hungry boys. Like, we know how these prices have gone up. We need leadership out in Washington that is up to the task to get inflation under control. Also, my military experience, you look at what's happening around the world right now. It's becoming more dangerous each and every day. We need someone in Washington who's worn a uniform, who understands the concerns that our men and women currently serving right now are going through, and is up to the task to make sure they have the training and the resources and the equipment necessary to take the fight to our adversaries. And then lastly, I think my legislative experience has proven time and time again that I've been able to work with those here in my party to achieve big goals. We were able to do it on multiple occasions. We're going to need that if we're going to fix the issue we have, the crisis that we have right now at the southern border. And when you look at the totality of that, I'm the one candidate that has this breadth of experience that can literally go to Washington on day one and advocate for the needs of the people here in Northeast Wisconsin.
You've got the big family, you've got the business that you're running. Did this opportunity come as a surprise to you?
It did.
It did?
Yeah.
And so I take it this is life-altering for you.
It is.
When Gallagher quit, what was your first reaction? Did you immediately say, hey, it's open?
I was shocked when he announced it, because all indication was looking to him running another term.
Right.
Yeah. So I was shocked, but then I also recognized that, you know, this is an important moment in history, an important moment for our country. And that's why I, connected with some family and some friends, and we were quickly able to reorient, change our vector and march headlong into this. No, it's an important time, and it's a time we as Americans, we can't fail. That's why I'm running.
Roger Roth is our guest this morning, running for Congress, and we have much more to come right after this, so please stay with us. And we are back now with congressional candidate Roger Roth, running for Wisconsin's 8th congressional district. So the seat is up for grabs. Let me ask you about three of your main campaign platforms from your website. First, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, securing the border. And as a backdrop to this, the border, I take it in your mind, is not secure. But we've had 4 or 5 presidents in the past who have not secured that border. You had Trump, who said we were going to get this big, beautiful wall built by Mexico and paid for by Mexico. Barack Obama didn't do it. George Bush Sr., Jr. didn't do it. What is it about that border that it is not secure? Is it politically advantageous to look the other way? Why has nothing been done?
Well, I think both sides, honestly, have wanted to use this as a political ploy over the years. Yeah. But there's no question about it. The southern border is a crisis, not just my opinion, not just my words. I mean, you look at the facts in the month of March, 186,000 people crossed that border. Month of January of this year, 176,000 crossed. 8.4 million people crossing illegally since Joe Biden became president. And that's after all of the positive policies that Donald Trump was able to institute. It brought illegal crossings down to a trickle. When you look at why Trump wasn't able to get it done, at the end of the day, he didn't have a Congress that was willing to work with him. And my pledge to the voters here in Northeast Wisconsin, I will work with President Trump to get that border secured. It's important for many reasons, but to me, no so more than the fact that right now we've got the Communist Party of China is shipping over the chemical components to Mexico, which the drug lords are combining to make fentanyl. They're lacing it into drugs. They're sending those up into our country. And we have each and every year, last year, 100,000 Americans died of fentanyl overdoses. We can't allow that kind of thing to continue. It's got to stop. The way we fix that is by securing that southern border once and for all.
So Congressman Roth's fix for the border is?
We've got to build a wall. Absolutely. Okay. Build a wall, invest in our border agents, Border Patrol, and make sure that we know who and what is coming into this country. And I think there's going to be more to it. I mean, you look at the Communist Party of China, as I mentioned, shipping over the chemical components. There's going to have to be a foreign policy choice here. We're going to need this next administration backed up by Congress to let the Chinese know they can't be doing this. We're not going to allow you to ship these components into our hemisphere.
Second item on your platform is restoring America's values. What did you mean by that? What values need to be restored? Where did they go?
Well, if you look at it right now and just go and talk with people, there's so much uncertainty out there right now. People have lost faith. They've lost faith in the American vision, the American ideal, and it's incumbent upon those that we have in leadership positions to articulate that and to stand for that. To give you an example, when our country went through a similar time frame in the 1970s, a time of malaise, a time of stagflation, there was that uncertainty. Is America up to the task to be a superpower, to lead the world again? Can our economy rise to the occasion to provide opportunities for the middle class? And people didn't know. There was a lot of uncertainty. Ronald Reagan marched out onto the scene with that vision, and he was able to transform America in his 2 terms in office. So as I look right now, I see a country that's much the same way. We've got hardworking middle-class people like myself who's struggling. They're seeing the people at the top doing very well, but they see an economy that's not working for everybody. They see inflation diving in and taking money out of their back pockets. A Wisconsin family today spends $10,000 more a year for the same goods and services they had the day before Joe Biden became president. So it's articulating the fact that America works, our Constitution is worth fighting for, worth protecting, and we've just got to reinvigorate this economy in the faith in the American ideals. That's what I'm going to do. It's one of my jobs, is running for office and being elected, is to be an ambassador for how great and awesome and powerful this country can be and the kinds of economic opportunities it can provide for all of our citizens if we have leadership in Washington that understands that and is up to the task.
All right, you just mentioned Joe Biden's economy. That's part 3 of your 3 items on your platform. Let me throw you a softball.
Yeah.
What don't you like about Joe Biden's economy?
Well, look at this inflation right now, and it is crippling for those who are saving, those are seniors at the top, and for hardworking Wisconsin families. And they're not able to provide for the basic needs and services because Biden, through his fiscal policy, and he's going around, he was just in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago, wants to hand out free college tuition to all Americans. This is to the same college students who right now are on the university campuses across America chanting anti-Semitic slogans, anti-Israeli slogans. Like, we need an economy that works for all Americans. The way we have that is by getting spending under control in Washington and having a government that trusts entrepreneurs, trusts our small businesses to go out there and advocate for their employees, to make those investments, to take that risk. That's how we grow this economy. That's how we make Wisconsinites better off in the years to come. Joe Biden has failed us these last 3.5 years.
How much blame do you put on Joe Biden? How much blame do you put on skyrocketing corporate profits?
I put the blame squarely on Joe Biden.
Not corporate profits.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to make a free enterprise work. You need people who've got great ideas, who are able to go and market those, create products that they can sell to people at a cost people are willing to pay for. And then the incentive that they have in doing that is their profit. And if you have sky-high profits, then you will not be able to provide a product that people can afford. And if you have a product that's of poor quality, people aren't going to be able to, no one's going to buy that. So the system works great when we let these entrepreneurs take these risks, these people are putting in their hard-earned money, all of their savings, because they've got a belief in a better tomorrow, in a new product that can revolutionize our future. And they need to be rewarded for that if they're able to find that.
Roger Roth, running for Congress, is our guest this morning. We have much more to come right after this, so please stay right there. Back now with 8th District Congressional candidate Roger Roth. Roger, you know the dysfunction in Congress that we're watching right now. We went through the Kevin McCarthy saga. We're watching Mike Johnson on the verge of being ousted again. There's this small minority of Republican hardliners in the party right now. If you were in Congress, what could you do to bring some semblance of normalcy back to that body?
Well, I think it's important that we have people who've actually done some things in their lives. My small business experience, my military experience, certainly my legislative experience, my family background, my wife, our 5 little boys, we've got a lot vested here in the future of this country. And when I go out there, my goal is to work with these people and let them know that there are a lot of people all across our country counting on us right now at this very moment to provide leadership. And that's exactly what I'll do, is work with people to provide the leadership necessary to get this country moving in the right direction.
Want to have voters, viewers know exactly where you stand on a couple of issues here. Back in January 12th of 2021, you supported a blocking of a Democratic state Senate resolution which would have affirmed Joe Biden as the legitimately elected president, and it would have condemned January 6th. You supported blocking that resolution. Why did you do that?
I don't know the particulars of that resolution. I can tell you that on the floor of the Senate, we often didn't pass any, Democratic proposals. But I can tell you right now that I support the results of the 2020 election.
Okay, there, in simple terms. And what about January 6th?
Yeah, I thought January 6th was a bad day in the history of our country. I think there were some bad actors who were there, certainly, and they need to be held accountable. I think there were a lot of other people who were showing up there not intending to do anything wrong, who kind of got swept up in what was happening. But there was bad things happening, I think, on both sides out there.
Okay, lightning round on your platform. Abortion, where do you stand?
Pro-life.
Okay. Hamas-Israel conflict. Who's wrong? Is anybody wrong? How do we end it?
Well, I firmly stand with Israel right now.
Okay.
There was a ceasefire in place on October 6th, and Hamas broke that ceasefire, and they came and brutally killed 1,200 Israelis. And I firmly stand with the right of Israel to go and root out this extremist terrorist organization, and I hope America stands behind them. I'm actually disappointed when I'm seeing from President Biden right now on this. We have got to stand firmly behind the Israelis. No one else in the world has their back like we do. They need it now more than ever.
Ukraine, do we continue our support of Ukraine?
I think it's important that we support Ukraine much like we supported England in the early stages of World War II through Lend-Lease. I don't support sending the Ukrainians cold cash, but I absolutely have no issue if we send them munitions, if we send them, our old guns, our old tanks, what have you, allowing us here in the United States to reinvest in our industrial base, making sure that we have the best and the newest equipment moving forward. But make no mistake about it, Russia, Vladimir Putin, these are evil people. These are people who are sponsoring terror around the world that is hurting Americans, killing Americans, and I would rather invest our bullets right now and giving them to the Ukrainians than having to send over our boys.
How did you view, as a former state senator, how did you view our recent redistricting?
I wasn't in office when that happened, yeah.
Right.
So I know they voted for it. I honestly haven't been following. I think it provides great opportunities right now for people all over the state. On the Republican and Democrat sides, lines are a little bit different, so you're seeing a lot of fresh blood out there, new people getting involved. I think it's a good thing.
In the past, when you were in the Senate, you had opposed the legalization of marijuana in Wisconsin. Is that in all cases? Where would you stand bringing the issue to Washington if you're elected?
Well, I don't support recreational marijuana, but I do support, I think there are instances, particularly medical marijuana, where allowing people to have that ability, if they're going through things, particularly cancers, what's the difference if they're taking a pharmaceutical component to try and help them versus something natural like marijuana. So I do support it for medical reasons.
All right, we are back to wrap up with Roger Roth right after this, so please stay right there. Back now with Roger Roth, who is looking to fill the congressional seat vacated by Mike Gallagher. You're on the campaign trail. Has this whole Trump thing, the Trump trial, had any effect on you and your campaigning?
None whatsoever.
Not put in any position where you have to ask or answer uncomfortable questions?
None whatsoever.
No, that's out of the picture for you. The Republicans, I take it, you hope that they will maintain the House come November. Why do you think that?
Well, I think people are looking out there right now, and we've got a clear choice. We've got two candidates running now for president who are both president, either one currently or one former. And I don't, you probably have to go back a century before you had a replay like what we're going to see right now. I believe we're going to do very well from top to bottom because people see who's running. There's nothing you need to know. You know about these people. You know them. And what they see in Joe Biden is they see a man who's not up for the task. They see a country that has declined in the last 3.5 years. And they know what they had under President Trump. And they want an America that's strong, that can protect our country and our borders and our interests. And they want an economy that is on fire, that can help those of us here in the middle class achieve our hopes and dreams. That's why I'm confident Republicans not only will win at the House level, I believe we take control of the U.S. Senate, and I believe Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States.
What's top of agenda for you if you get in office?
Yeah, first and foremost, with my military background, I want to make sure that our war fighters have the training, the resources, and the equipment necessary. This world is getting dangerous, and we need to make sure that we have a military that is ready to meet that challenge.
Finally, I've got about a minute and a half here for the Roger Roth campaign speech. You should become our next congressman because.
Well, Tom, I appreciated our time here this morning, and I'm going all across Northeast Wisconsin, meeting the voters one-on-one, sharing with them my story. Look, as I mentioned to you at the beginning, the challenges that we are facing in our country right now, the threats, they are very real. And to fix these, to solve these complex problems, we need to elect men and women who are ready to meet that challenge. If you look at my background, 25 years in small business here in Northeast Wisconsin, 20 years in the Wisconsin Air National Guard, 4 deployments to the Middle East, my time serving in the state legislature with Scott Walker, ushering in the great reforms that have moved our state forward in the last decade. This is the moment to send someone to Washington that can lead on day one. I am that candidate. I have the understanding, the wherewithal, and the backbone to lead not only for the people in Northeast Wisconsin, but for our entire state and nation. I can promise you this, America has been in the ropes before. Just look at the last 225 years of our history, but that is not our future. We have a very bright future ahead of us here in America, and I look forward to working with Republicans out in Washington to see that day come.
Roger Roth, a pleasure as always. Thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we ought to have on this show, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7:30. Until then, have a great day.